Hey, everybody. My name is Nick McRae. I'm the Associate Pastor of Serving Ministries here at Refuge, and I'm here with Denise Robinson. Denise, say hi. She's waving if you can't see that.
Yeah, hey everybody.
Denise is the Director of Adult Discipleship and Connections here at Refuge, and we are talking today with Abby Germer. Abby Germer is the City Director for Refuge for Women North Texas. Now, Refuge for Women is an organization that we are partnering with here at Refuge for our New Year's Eve, for our Christmas Eve offering. So 25% of everything that's given here on Christmas Eve at Refuge will go to support a special project of Refuge for Women. And Abby, is there anything you would like to add about yourself before we get started?
Yeah, like you mentioned, I'm the executive director here in North Texas for the Refuge location. And I grew up in this area. I was just talking with Denise and Nick before we got started. My alma mater is Marcus High School. My parents still live in Highland Village. And so the Flower Mound, North Texas area is my heart home. And I just love still being active in the community that we get to these days. So married, 2 kids, and doing all those things that come along with it. So thanks for having me.
Indeed.
We're so glad you're here.
Yeah, you're doing all that, and then you're also doing a lot of amazing work with Refuge for Women North Texas. Now, for those who are joining us, you may or may not have listened to the 2-part podcast that we released this past Sunday and the Sunday before. That was a conversation between Abby and our own Alyssa Robinson, sort of talking, really getting into detail about what Refuge for Women is and does and what that looks like. And so I would invite you to go and I encourage you really to go find those podcasts. In fact, if you go to tmumc.org/Christmas, you can find information about our Christmas Eve offering and about how we're partnering with Refuge for Women. And you can also find links to those podcast episodes and lots of other information about this. So I invite you to go and listen to those. But not everybody here will have listened to those podcasts probably. So Abby, in the podcast, you gave us kind of your best elevator pitch about Refuge for Women, who you are, what you do. Could you mind sharing that with us again?
Yes, absolutely. So Refuge for Women is a national organization, and we do have a local presence here in the North Texas area. At our location here, the long end of the short of it is that we are a restorative healing program for women who have been trafficked or exploited sexually. So the residents that we serve in our program have all been survivors of being trafficked and exploited. And then they come and they do live in our residential housing facility. And then we take them on a healing journey while they're with us. So our residents can stay with us up for 2 years.
I love that you say it's a healing journey. That term just really jumps out at me. Can you give us an example of some of a healing story that you have seen taking place?
Yeah. So it's definitely what I always like to share is that the topic of this reality is very heavy and it's hard and it's sad. But when you do have an opportunity to see the healing and the freedom that comes with working their way through the program, it makes it worth it, sort of. I don't know if this is ever worth it, but just the healing portion. So what I would say is that healing does come in all forms, both spiritually, physically, and emotionally. And that is part of what our wraparound services are at Refuge, is we do address all forms of that. But I would say the 2 biggest that stick out to me the most is when we are able to get our residents to a place where they're able to stop believing the lies that maybe society or other things, situations have told them that they are, and they start to rediscover who their God-given identity is and rediscovering their strengths that comes through Jesus, and for them to be able to operate on those levels. It's definitely a tremendous healing experience. And then the other one that I would say is really huge is just the power of forgiveness. Our women come into our program and they have tremendous trust issues, and they have been used and abused most of their lives. And when they can get to a place where they are in a full place of surrender and they can actually forgive the past and walk in the freedom of that, it's definitely extremely powerful to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's beautiful the way that y'all are able to meet the women where they are, and sort of give them this place that's without judgment and a place where they can rest and they can grow. I'm wondering, so y'all are a faith-based organization. So how have you seen women discover intimacy with God through your program? What does that look like, and what's that been like?
I believe it's all through our community. It's through the different volunteers, the different partners that we have through our churches, our ministries, and then even our staff. And so meeting our residents where they're at, it's showing them that there is opportunity to have good, clean, sober fun, that people really are trustworthy. When we have volunteers and staff show up, when they say they're going to show up and do what they say they're going to do, and you just start developing those basic touch points and relationships, that is definitely a huge part that comes of allowing that space in the program. We also incorporate several, they work through over 20 books of curriculum as they go through our program. And so some of those books are on boundaries, substance abuse, codependency. We do have Bible studies that our residents work through. And so incorporating the Bible studies and putting them in communities where they are surrounded by other believers that have victories and testimonies where they can have hope, is part of that process as well.
Well, one of the things that I really want to encourage everybody, I know Nick already said the podcast, but you go into such great detail of even that curriculum that they go through in that process. So I really want to encourage everybody. It is time well spent listening to that, and I appreciated you sharing that. But we want to focus on the Survivor Made store today because that's where our offering is going. Isn't that correct, Nick? You want to share a little bit about exactly where our offering's going?
Yes, absolutely. So there's so much good work that Refuge for Women is doing, and we'd love to support all of that. But there's a especially exciting kind of new project that's happening over at Refuge for Women, and it's called the Survivor Made Workshop. Now, remember, once again, 25% of our offering for Christmas Eve is going to go toward that initiative. Now, Abby, could you share with us a little bit about, so what is Survivor Made? What is the workshop? Just give us a sense about that project.
Okay, so Survivor Made Workshop, in the long and of the short of it, is part of the program requirements is that our residents are supposed to start going back to work. You know, our heart is long-term healing. And so part of long-term sustainability is being able to hold a job and be able to make a living and learn how to be a good employee and all of that stuff. And so prior to COVID hitting, around month 6, our residents would have to go out into the community and start working part-time. Well, when COVID came in March, we had 2 residents that were not able to move into that portion of the program to obtain a part-time job. And so we got super creative, and that is where Survivor Made was born. And so what Survivor Made is that our residents are in the process of creating, and they make these beautiful, beautiful leather handmade shoulder bags and goods. This one has a cute little pocket. This is our newly released design, the tote. And what they do is this bag started as a flat sheet of leather, and we brought the leather in, they trace the pattern, they sew it, they assemble it, they do the quality control. And now that we are actually selling our purses and our bags, they are part of the logistics team too. And so they process the orders, they print the shipping receipts, they package them up, and they make sure that they are going out into the community. And we've actually sold these bags all over the United States so far.
So, I'm fascinated by that because my great aunt and uncle were handmade boot makers
Okay.
for Letty Boots in San Angelo, Texas, a really famous boot place. And so when I would go to their workshop, it was just fascinating. My aunt would do the tops with all the stitching and stuff, and my uncle would do the soles. And it was not an easy thing to do at all. It was a lot of work and
Yeah.
such precision involved. What made y'all decide to try leather?
Well, because we're in Texas, I think.
There you go. That's a perfect answer.
I mean, I think too, it was just getting creative. I actually have a friend of mine who is a leather craftsman, and that is his trade, and he does phenomenal work. And so when we were hit with this situation, we just tried to think outside the box. And there was a conversation I was having with one of our national staff members, and I asked her if we could, kind of figure out if a social enterprise was Survivor Made, if we could do that here in North Texas. And she just mentioned like, well, let's do leather goods. And that struck a chord with me because I know a gentleman named Eli who was going to be willing to mentor us. And so I called Eli and said, hey, do you want to dream together? This is where we're at. And the rest is history. And so we sold in a month 67 handbags when we first launched them on our website. And with that, you start with where you're at. And so our shop is literally half of a garage that we have made a Survivor Made workshop. And right now we have a total of 5 employees plus a Survivor Made manager. But we are incorporating this into the program. And so after a resident's been in our home for 30 days, they have the opportunity, actually we have 6 employees, I'm sorry. They have the opportunity to start working in our Survivor Made shop at 4 hours a week. And so there they are already starting to earn money, which is going into a savings account for them. They're already able to learn a trade and a skill that they will hopefully be able to utilize for the rest of their lives. And they're learning how to be an employee. So they have a schedule to follow. They have to set up the shop. They have to clean up the shop when they're done. It's a very tiny workspace. And so they have to learn how to communicate and work around each other and alongside of each other, to keep the demand of the product moving along. So like you were saying, we're so grateful that Treach is willing to partner with us for this Christmas Eve because, this offering is going to go towards building us a real shop. Our house that we are in, that our residents live in as they work through the program, is on quite a bit of acreage. Well, 2, but it's still nice. And so we do have room on the property that we do own. And so this is where our desire is to build the shop and on the same property for them to be able to have easy access to work.
I think that's awesome, and I can also vouch for the bags. I happen to have one of those first bags that was sold from the website, and I have 2 of them actually. This is one of them, and they're beautiful. And also, I love that you mentioned that this was just how Texas a thing it was. Mine came with a surprise, and that was these handmade leather earrings, which I think are maybe some of the more Texas earrings that my family owns now, and I think it's wonderful. Yeah. So right now, I can't believe I think you'd mentioned it here already. I know we've talked about it a few times before, but so right now you're working out of basically half of a garage, right? Yeah. For all of this enterprise. And so, so it sounds like, through this offering, the gifts that the people at Treach will be able to give to support this, that you're going to be able to really expand the not only just the space that you have to work in, right? Mm-hmm. But that means also just you're going to be able to do more and better work and have more and better opportunities for the people in the program.
And we do hope to have it be in a career path for some of our residents as well. We have a resident now who, when she graduated our program, she lives in our transitional living house, and we hired her on, and she has been our lady that we have trained on our industrial sewing machine. And so she is a full-time Survivor Made employee as a graduate from our program. We have 2 of our other employees are nearly completing our program, and they'll be graduating here within the next month. And one of those residents has learned that she loves numbers. And so she has spearheaded our logistics, and she's the one that processes our orders, makes sure our inventory online is correct, and keeps up with the logistical aspect of this operation. And as we move into a shop and as this continues to grow, our heart is to be able to continue to provide career paths and opportunities for our residents as well.
Well, there's something so wonderful about purchasing a product that has the story behind it.
Yeah.
Even though you might not know the person that made it personally, there's a relationship there that you're making a difference in.
Yeah.
And so that's really important to us too, to learn is, how can we at Refuge, in addition to our offerings, make a difference in helping what is really a huge social issue?
Right. I mean, definitely when it comes to sex trafficking, and I know if you listen to the podcast, one of the things I talk about a lot is time, talents, and resources. And I just think as kingdom believers and kingdom livers, we do have an opportunity to work together, and so when I think about how can people serve with their time, a lot of that is just to help get us connected in the community. If you have relationships with small business owners or boutiques, we would love to be able to put our product in their store. And so that is an awesome way to help us out right now. Something outside of Survivor Made that Refuge does enjoy doing is hosting an awareness event. And it might be a Zoom call with a women's group, or having us come, to a socially distanced event and educate our community on the realities of trafficking and what it looks like. We also have a youth prevention program called, of course, I don't have it at the tip of my tongue, but we do. It's age appropriate for middle schoolers and high schoolers. And so that is a time that you can utilize your time to serve, to help us raise awareness in our community and to be a resource there. And then just help us get connected with local businesses, grants, and foundation opportunities. Our program is free of cost for our residents. And so we do rely a lot on our community members, churches, individuals, and businesses to help provide these services for these women to come and have an opportunity to heal and, regroup and then go back out and be champions in this world. Beyond a survivor, but being walking in victory and hope and healing. So,
well, and that was something that you said in your podcast that really struck me, because I am the mom of 2 daughters. You're the mom of 2 daughters.
yes.
And just remembering that these women are somebody's daughters. And
Amen.
that really impacted me and said, I want to know even more. And I was also impacted that often we think of it as a third world country problem. And it's not. It's right here in our own neighborhood. And so that's so important.
Yeah.
Okay. So people listening to this podcast right now, I'm sure they're all wanting to know how they can buy me one of those beautiful purses for Christmas. And so
there are actually a couple of ways that we have right now. And so tomorrow is actually our deadline to order one and get it guaranteed by Christmas. So you can go to our website at www.rfwntx.org. And on our homepage, you will see a spot where you can click Survivor Made, and that'll take you to our Survivor Made store. So
say that website one more time.
www.rfwntx.org.
Got it.
And then, or you can go to our Facebook page, join our group, Refuge for Women North Texas. We do post opportunities there when we restock maybe a purse that'll be out, and with the link to purchase them there. But this weekend on Saturday from 12 to 2, Nome Cones in Denton off the square is allowing us to set up a shop, and we will have product on hand, and you will be able to see and feel and shop with what products we do have. So we'll have several designs of bags there, and we'll also have some of those Texas style earrings that Nick was talking about. So this Saturday from 12 to 2 at Nome Cones in Denton off the square, we are setting up a shop. So those are the opportunities we have. If you miss the shipping, we'll give you a chance to come in person. So
well, that is awesome. I love that there's so many different ways to kind of come alongside y'all and partner with y'all. And I'm just really excited to get to be a part of the of what God is doing through y'all here in North Texas, the healing that's taking place there, and also this new thing that's springing forth of the creativity coming out of COVID. I think it's beautiful to see when something new and exciting sort of grows out of that kind of pain, right? It's a beautiful thing that God does like that. And so yeah, we'll make sure that if you've been following along, you didn't manage to get those URLs, those links to connect with Refuge for Women and with Survivor Made, we'll make sure to push those out to y'all, friends who are watching. So we will get you connected with that, with Refuge for Women. Once again, I hope that y'all will be with us for Christmas Eve and take part in this Christmas Eve offering that's going to I hope do a lot of good for the kingdom of God with Refuge for Women. And now, before we go, we were about out of time. I have one more question, maybe the most important question of the day, and that is, Abby, what do you want for Christmas this year?
Okay, nobody can judge me, but I want one of those handy dandy Dyson pet vacuum cleaners that just goes against the wall and it's cordless. One of my good friends has one and she swears by it. So that's what I'm hoping for.
There you go. I've been eyeing that as well.
All right, Treat. All right, Treat, Abby, you heard it.
Abby, it was a pleasure to meet you, and we hope you have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
And I, again, encourage everybody to listen to the podcast.
Thank you. We're very grateful. And it was a God thing when Nick called. And so thank you guys for this opportunity. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what God does as well.
Well, me too. Thank you so much, Abby, Denise, and everybody who's joining us. God bless you. We'll see y'all soon. Bye.
Bye.